Given the wet weather, the high rainfall, fields are wet, the ground has been compacted by heavy machinery running across it, that people try to harvest, by cattle, and plants are suffering. Grass is suffering, production is suffering. Roots aren't able to penetrate, water isn't able to escape. Productive grasses will disappear out of it and be filled up with meadowgrass. So the plants are smaller and less productive. This is a field that's coming to the end of its life. The proportion of productive grasses in here is probably somewhere around 20%. One of the problems is the roots aren't penetrating despite the fact you've got standing water on the surface. 2 inches, 3 inches down, it's bone dry. As the sward declines, it will green over. Any areas that have been damaged and rutted will grow green, but they grow green with meadowgrass, so you end up with a double whammy of lower production and much lower response to fertility. A productive sward is one that's more than 50% ryegrass or timothy, like this one. The best way of distinguishing grasses is to go and look at the base of the sward. As a rough rule of thumb, what is productive is very difficult to pull out, what is weed grasses are very easy to pull out, but if you look at the base of the stem, ryegrass is a nice bright red area and timothy white base on the stem, but with a little bulb at the bottom, almost like a spring onion. You will end up making a very costly error of trying to compensate for a poor sward by throwing very expensive fertiliser at it and just not getting the response. If you've got somewhere between 30 and 50% of sown species, it doesn't justify a reseed, so the best thing is to try and remove as much of the weed grasses as possible and then replace them with productive species by overseeding. To renovate a field, you need to look at your problems. The first problem is to check your soil structure.
Now if you can see this as we're pulling it away, how the soil is all cracking with roughly 5-6 inch of grass roots in this top piece of sward we've dug out. In long term you have far healthier grass layers.
Then decide what tool you use to correct the compaction or consolidation. Going in anything up to 6-8 inches, you need a sward lifter which will actually lift the soil, open the structure up and allow the air to go into a greater depth. It'll shatter the pan. If it's only a shallow pan, something that's caused by sheep that's in the top inch and a half, then a slitter will work beautifully and just again open up the sward and allow the roots and the air to penetrate and create a healthy sward. Once you've done that, you then try to remove as much of the poor grass as you can. The Opico is an extremely effective machine for pulling out a lot of the shallow rooted grasses like meadowgrass, and at that point you can then go back in and reintroduce productive grasses either by drilling it or by using the grass box on top of the Opico. When you reseed, you use something that will establish rapidly and aggressively. A high proportion of tetraploid ryegrass will come away well. Take the opportunity to reintroduce white clover into the sward, which will not only fix nitrogen but will improve the protein content of the grazing and improve the animal's performance. So you go for a mixture that is specifically designed for the job.